Aloha everybody and welcome to part 17 of Mega Man ZX. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing the Repel the Army mission. If you remember in the last part, Serpent had finally gotten Model W, and as soon as he did, Prairie started talking about a huge Maverick outbreak on Area D. So we know to get to Area O, our next destination, we should probably look around Area D. And sure enough, just warp to Area D2, the trans server, and go right, and eventually you shall find a ladder, and you use Model H to reach that ladder, and if you climb the ladder, you shall find yourself a pathway to the next area, Area O. As always, you have to accept the mission. If you don't accept the mission, then we go here for no reason. Because apparently, unless I file a report, the bad guys I am specifically looking for will not be here. The Maverick Army is drawing closer to the residential district with every passing second. We need to stop them and avoid as many Guardian casualties as possible. Find the Maverick leading them and take it out. But yeah, now that Serpent has gotten Model W, I guess it's on. Whatever Project Haven is, he's fine having all these airships blowing the shit out of the entire city in one big giant Maverick invasion. Oh boy. Luckily, Area O isn't too drastically difficult for what it's supposed to be. This is like the second last level in the whole entire game. After this is the final mission of the game. And it's really not that drastically different from what Area D was. No real spike issues. The enemies, they're in some somewhat tricky positions, but there's nothing you can't really handle. Here we have a repeat of the intermission segment where the ships were latching onto the Guardian HQ. Basically, you know, the docking stations come in, enemies fly out. If you destroy a docking station while the enemy that's flown out of it is hanging around, he'll aim for you and try going for you. But if you do like I did with Model F and you have some nice positioning, you can pretty much stop them from leaving the shuttle and kill them every time they try, and then just destroy the docking stations like it's nobody's business. Model F is actually pretty good for this area because when we start coming up to the buildings, all these flamethrower guys start popping up. And again, because he can shoot directly upwards, and you can also curve his bullets to go upwards too, for people who like that strategy, it's very easy to kill these guys without running into the fire or, you know, just to kill him. And you can always drop like health pellets or energy crystals or whatever you're looking for. So, you know, Model F is pretty damn useful here. Well, Model F in general has always been pretty damn useful, so I hope you're taking advantage of Model F, kids. Or adults. Whoever's watching this, I'm sure it's not all children. I beat Omega in the last video, stop asking about it. But anywho, the trans server we just passed by, again, it's a good place to save the game, but we don't really need it. We don't really need it after that. It just seems like weird, like, we're coming to Area O, like, near the end of the game, and, like, I guess if you come to Area O to grind for energy crystals or something, that there's a shortcut in order to get out of it real quickly, but, yeah, out of the way. This boss is pretty similar to the one where we fought Legankor, only it's not underwater, and this is one of the few instances in the game in which I use a charged Saber Slash in order to take away the tentacles, because why not? Again, I've already mentioned this before, but like, in the Zero series I used it a lot because combined with the Fire, Ice, Electric chips, it was super powerful against bosses. But in Mega Man ZX, I don't feel a charge shot and a charged Saber Slash are all that drastically different in terms of damage output. So I just don't use the charge slash as much as I did in the Zero series, but you can still do that. You can still do charged Saber Slashes, and it's powerful. Maybe it's slightly more powerful than a Buster Shot, but I like having range, you know. I should have known you two would be behind this. Pandora and Prometheus. Well, we've finally drawn the curtain and have arrived at our final act. You and Serpent, the two holders of the power fighting each other to the end. Yes, it is just as Model W had foreseen. Model W? What about Serpent? Biometal is a conscious entity. It can control the weak. Did you really think Serpent had the willpower to control Model W? He is just a simple pawn! You've been using Serpent from the start! It's too late. Model W, about to awaken. We'll keep you occupied while you wait, Mega Man! Model ZX! Oh yeah, we're fighting both Pandora and Prometheus at the same time now. Luckily, it's not as bad as it sounds because they take turns. They're not both doing their strategies at the very same moment, so don't worry, you're just watching out for one single move the whole fight. Also, I haven't really mentioned this yet, but my favorite battle theme in the whole entire game is the Pandora and Prometheus theme. I think it's called Trap Factory. It is so high energy, it is the kind of thing you want from like a big rival battle, and if Pandora and Prometheus are this game's Four Guardians, this game's Proto Man, this game's Zero or whatever, or Vile rather, then it's a damn good theme song. But again, they do the same kind of strategies they were doing in the earlier fights. Obviously, her ice snowman bounces differently. You want to stun Prometheus when he tries to like slash at you. There's no walls to jump off of this time around, so you've got to get used to that, especially when you're dodging his homing energy balls right here. But you know, the same strategies apply. When Prometheus is on red, you can use electricity to shave his health really quickly. They share the same health bar. The ice snowman bounces, you can dash under it, no problem. Fafnir can use his bullets to shoot upwards when Pandora is doing kinds of, like hanging up in the sky and doing kinds of attacks like this. But they do take turns, and I do think like the fights are not too drastically different from the previous two when you fought them by themselves. So as long as you just get used to the pattern and get used to how to dodge the green electric laser things from before, or the fireballs that home in on you from before, and know when to stun Prometheus as he charges for you and stuff like that. This fight's pretty damn fun. Pandora and Prometheus are easily the highlight of Mega Man ZX because, again, I love their theme song, I love the strategies involved with fighting them, and these are the kind of boss fights I like, you know? I just wish there was an option to just immediately refight it without having to play through the whole entire game again, because it's so fun. Just who are you if you're not in league with Serpent? We are the voice of Model W. If you want to know more, you'll have to face Model W. You, Serpent, the citizens of this country, all of you were just players on a stage acting out your parts just as Model W had written them. The Maverick activity is finally subsiding. You must have taken out their leader. Well, I made him run. It's not over yet. Have you pinpointed Model W's current location? I'm sorry, we're gonna need a little more time with that. Vent, come back to Guardian HQ while we try to find it. Vent, we've tracked down Model W's location. It's in the tallest building right in the center of our country, Slither Inc.'s head office. I'm detecting a huge concentration of energy amassing within the building. Something big is about to happen. It's going to be dangerous. I know it'll be dangerous, but this is something I have to do. Vent, I know it's a little late, but I'm so sorry I keep putting your life in jeopardy. If I never would have made that transporter request, you wouldn't have gotten wrapped up in all this. And Jiro, I feel like I've caused you so much pain and suffering. Please don't feel that way. I'm grateful to you. Really? Why? It's my fault that I couldn't save Boss. I wasn't strong enough. But now I have the power of the biometal. Thanks to you and the biometal, I finally have the strength to protect the ones I care about. Vent, I'll be back soon. I'm off to end this nightmare. The final mission data has been added to the trans server. Vent, make sure you come back to us, okay? And yeah, it is indeed the final mission, ladies and gentlemen. Serpent has brought Model W to the head of Slither Incorporated, the big building in the middle of the city. And that's where we're going to be squaring off with him, as well as any lackeys who are still hanging around. So, We're coming up to the end, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I got all the body chips, I got all the sub-tanks. There are some side quests I can do for extra energy crystals and stuff, but I'll save that for later. But Destroy Model W is indeed the final mission in the game, and basically you have to go to the main Slither Incorporated building, and that one's not very far off at all. It basically just go back to Area D2, just like we did for Area O, and immediately go left to where you fought Jiro and where you first met Serpent, Pandora, and Prometheus for the first time. Once you approach the yellow building, the gates will open, and then we're heading to the final level of the game. So folks, in Part 18, we end Mega Man ZX.